Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast.
Joining us now is a guy that, I swear to God, he looks like Frank Zappa to me.
Well, let's put him on there. There you
Okay,
go.
well, did Mr. Mars, do you have the information here?
Yeah. This is actually Dustin Harden, and we talked to his dad
Okay.
You're on.
previously.
Yeah.
Got it. Creative Classics and Customs is the shop he's with.
Oh, he's our next door neighbor.
No,
No?
Nope.
Oh,
that's custom.
where are you?
do you read?
We're
No,
back. We're
I
back by
don't.
the tennis courts.
You're back by the tennis
Yeah,
courts.
we've got
Way
the crazy.
over there.
We've got the crazy George Barris car back there, the long gold one,
30 Love.
Oh, the
Tornado.
Tornado. Remember? The
Yeah,
old
we saw
Tornado?
at Woody's 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We spent about 2 years restoring that car.
Yeah.
2 years? Not every day.
Pretty close. That's a big car.
Well, I know that
It is a
I
big
know
car.
it is, but it is a weird-looking car.
It is a
which
weird-looking
fits
car.
in the George Barris world
Oh yeah,
of cars.
it's got George Barris all over it.
Yeah. Did you find anything weird about that car? Things that were kind of like,
you know,
what did they do this for?
You know, there's a lot of weird stuff underneath the skin of that car.
Really?
Where they needed clearance for something, they just took a sledgehammer and beat the crap out of it.
To make room.
You know, it looks like some of the holes they cut in the car, they used a hatchet instead of a saw. Just really strange stuff like that. Wow. And then a lot of just weird Home Depot-looking hardware, you know.
Well, you know, it's funny. I have looked at one of the original Batman cars, and we have seen some very interesting Mustangs, as a matter of fact. We saw the display Mustang at the 1964 World's Fair.
Oh, wow.
Very nice guy, and he explained to us the car didn't go down an assembly line. It's clear. The door clearances, even the doors themselves had to be lengthened to fit. It's a bizarre thing of building a car, but really if you stop and think about it, if I were to build a car and I wanted it to look like the Tornado, or if I wanted it to look like the Batmobile, I really wouldn't care what was underneath it, as long as the running gear was okay.
Right.
Because I'm going to change the whole exterior of the car. But I've seen cars where they've peeled pieces of the skin off, and you're going, oh, my God, it's a piece of crap underneath there.
Sure.
Yeah, it looks good from my house when you cover it up.
But think about it, though. George Barris was in the business not only to do his creative thing and show it off, but he was also in the business to make money.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, how are you going to make money if you go out and buy yourself a brand new Tornado and then cover it all up and make all these modifications? Didn't
Chop
make
it
no
up
sense.
and put it back together. Yeah.
Some of them came out of junkyards.
Yeah.
Like all of those that were on the Dukes of Hazzard. The majority of those, they were junk heaps when they painted them up and fixed them up. All they're going to use them for a jump.
Yeah. Smash
to
them up.
destroy them again.
There you go.
So other than the holes, the hatchet holes in it, what else did you find? Did it have the original running gear in it?
It does. It has the original running gear. It's front-wheel drive, obviously.
Yep.
It's only got about 30,000 miles on it.
What year is it?
67.
67.
Yep. All of the interior we were able to save. So, like the shag carpet is the original shag carpet that George Barris put in. We tried to source. We tried to source some shag carpet. It's like, where are you going to find shag carpet these days? You know, some old lady's house is about the only place you're going to find it.
Yeah, so I was going to say.
And so we were stuck with trying to clean up the original, or I say the original, but the shag carpet that George Barris' team put in there.
The original install.
And, you know, get it out there, lay it out in the parking lot, and pressure wash all the rat turds off and, you know, clean it up the best you can and go with it.
How did you get a hold of this car? Did you buy it, or is it a customer
No,
car?
actually, no. The gentleman that owns it, his dad bought it from the raffle winner back in '67, and it's been in his family since he was a kid.
Oh my God!
And in
really?
fact, we have a book in our shop that was written about that car, and there's pictures of the current owner as a kid sticking his head out the window and standing next to it with George Barris and his dad and all that. It's got a really cool
So where
history.
does the car live? Is it the local owner?
Yeah, it lives in Ultimate Garage.
Okay.
So
And how did you connect with him?
we were behind a mechanic shop in our first building, and the owner was a customer of the mechanic shop. And he told the mechanic about the car and all that, and he's like, you guys got to go talk to this body shop back here. They could probably restore it for you. And so he asked us to come look at the car, and I believe me and another gentleman went out to his storage to look at it, and it was kind of crammed in with all this stuff, and it was the most bizarre thing I'd ever seen. And one thing led to another. We got the car on our wait list, and when we built our new facility in Kemah, It was one of the first cars that came over there, and we started on it. And like I said, it took about 2 years to restore the car.
Wow.
We had to have parts made for it because, I mean, there's some crazy stuff on there that George Barris' team just made. And,
where do you go to get stuff made?
Anywhere we can. We found a company that does cast molds of like industrial valves and things like that, and we had them make the tail pieces for the car because they were originally made out of some weird metal that they chromed, and when we took it to get it re-chromed, it disintegrated in the acid. And so the chrome shop said, "Hey man, one of those things is gone, but here's the other one."
Yeah, it melted down in the bottom of the pot.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, scrap that. So we had the other one still, thankfully. And that company that does
what
the
did
cast
they use,
molds,
pot metal or something?
they used
Probably,
before. It was bizarre. It was like foam wrapped in some kind of thin copper sheeting, and then they chromed it somehow. It was, like I said, it disintegrated in the chrome acid.
Wow.
And so, I mean, all the little rubber bumperettes that were originally poured in a form, we had 3D printed. Some of the little interior medallions that God knows where they came from, we had those 3D printed. So we had some of the originals. They were able to match up. I mean, we just sourced anywhere we could. You
ever done any research on Barris' shop?
Not a lot. Not a lot.
Wait, I haven't. I'm just curious. I know that there's a lot written about him.
Yep.
And a lot of interviews of him before he died.
Right.
And it was kind of sad, actually. One of the interviews that I saw was done in this storefront that was little bitty tiny stuff that, T-shirts and stuff that he was selling out of there, I guess, to stay in business somehow.
Right.
But very creative guy, especially for the time period.
Yes. And the owner of the Tornado has been in contact with his daughter. She actually sent him the book and sent him some other little stuff, medallions and things that were on the car when they cleaned out his shop and storefront and all that. And so he's actually spoken with his daughter several times.
So let's talk about you and your business.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Have at it.
So how did you get started?
Well, my dad used to paint cars back in the 70s and do custom paint.
On his own?
Yeah, on his own. He'd custom
What
paint,
part of town?
pinstriping, Pasadena, Deer Park.
Yep. Milburn's.
Yeah, he knew Milburn, sure.
Yep.
So I grew up around it, I took some 80 grit sandpaper to a freshly painted Volkswagen one time just before he delivered it, so I cut my teeth in real early.
Yeah. And your hind end, too.
Yeah,
probably.
big time, man. So my first car was a 67 Camaro I bought when I was 15. I've got it out here now. It's been 29 years this month.
You still have it?
We
29
talked about
years
that,
this month.
We saw that.
Yeah,
we saw
Keels
that.
and Wheels.
Yeah, we
Yep,
did.
it's like Keels and Wheels. So that really got me really into it, And my dad and I partnered up in 2016 and built a new facility in Kemah, and we've just been rocking along ever since.
You down at the boardwalk now?
No, we're actually on Anders Lane in Kemah, right off of 96, running parallel to Lawrence Road. So close to the boardwalk. I know what you're saying there.
Yeah. all I know is that House of Horrors that doesn't exist anymore. They finally mowed it down where they had all those terrible murders in there.
Oh, Toddville Mansion.
Yeah, Toddville Mansion.
Man.
You know that?
Oh, yeah. We used
Did
to go
you ever go
sneak
through there?
We used to go sneak around in there when we were
Did you?
teenagers, man. Oh, yeah.
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 Because it turned into just a dilapidated thing.
Oh, yeah. But it was spooky as all
It was.
get out, man. It really
Yeah,
was.
If you've never read anything about that, you need to because
It's bizarre.
Yeah. And did they make a movie over that? I think they did.
Yeah, I think they did.
But this house was kind of like square.
Oh,
and
yeah.
in the middle of it, did it have a pool in the middle of it? Pool. And so the upstairs is a banister all around it and all the bedrooms and the weird.
Oh, yeah.
Kinky.
People used to say you'd see silhouettes standing in the windows and all that kind of stuff. It was spooky, man.
Come for your daughter, Chuck.
Coming for your daughter, Chuck.
Come for your daughter, Chuck.
Okay, so what do you do at your place of business?
We do just about everything. Full-blown rotisserie restorations. We're pretty much a one-stop shop as far as getting a complete restoration.
What have you got
done.
on a rotisserie today?
Right now, currently on the rotisserie, we have a 73 Challenger. It was actually done by a local shop and put through Meekum, and the owner didn't even make it home with the car before it died. And the engine was completely shot. The fresh paint job that it just put on it started peeling off when
Did he
got
pay a
it
fortune
home.
for it?
New owner?
The new owner. Yeah. He paid top dollar for it. I'll say it to you that way. And
Hate to hear
I'd
that.
drive it
so
right back.
over the past few months, we've put in full floors, quarters, inner and outer rockers, roof panel, cow
Oh, my
panel,
gosh.
firewall.
So in other words, you've rebuilt the car completely.
Yeah,
Sounds
100%.
like it,
yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, do you have a motor that goes in it?
It's currently having a 440 built for it. It's a 492 stroker, I think it is.
Okay. So a new engine.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's going to have fuel injection
it's
in
gonna,
it.
Yeah, it's going to have a Holly Sniper 2 system
Gotcha.
on it. QA1 suspension, Willwood brakes, all that crazy stuff.
Okay, so you're not going to try to go back original with it?
No.
It's too big of a pain these days.
Oh, yeah, and it's a 73 Challenger.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a cool car, but it's not exactly
if
a
it's
70
not
Cuda.
a Hemi car,
Right, exactly.
It's not.
Exactly.
What else you working on?
We've got some odd stuff in there right now. We've got a 55 Jaguar.
I know that guy, and he wouldn't appreciate it if he knew
If
that
I
you
called
were
him
calling
weird?
it. No, if you're calling us some odd stuff.
Odd for what we do, I'll put it to you that
Yeah.
way.
Anything Jaguar
nice
is odd to
disclaimer.
us.
Anything Jaguar is odd, man. I'm just going to level with you, okay?
Believe me, I know.
Yeah.
Very well.
But
yes.
it's a neat car. It's actually a brand new body that was made in Ukraine. Half aluminum, half steel. Like I said, it's odd, okay? It's
yeah.
odd.
A lot of 10 millimeter going on in that.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, it's still all standard stuff.
Wow.
All the bolts are standard fine thread bolts. I was expecting metric bolts everywhere,
Yeah.
but they're not. No metric on it.
That's
Fine
weird.
threads,
Yeah, very weird.
Where was it originally made?
The body?
Well, the car.
Oh.
Where was it assembled originally?
I don't know. I'm not big on the Jaguars, so I
I'm
don't really
not
know
either.
a lot of their history.
And what year is it?
55.
Oh,
An
God.
XK140 drop
Okay,
top.
so it was originally built in England.
I'm sure it
Yeah,
probably
right.
I think
was.
so, yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah.
it probably was.
The Queen probably touched it.
Well,
Yeah, right. Blessed
Well, I
it.
don't know
At
about
least
that.
some
but-
queen touched it.
So,
Some queen. Yeah, somebody down there at Toddville Mansion.
oh, man. It's a neat looking car. I mean, it really is. It's a neat looking car. We're finishing up a 72 Datsun 240Z, which is different for
That's
us.
cool, yeah.
It's a neat
Yeah.
little car.
It's not all rusted through?
Yes.
Not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore. Actually, the guys had the car since high school and did a bunch of work to it, engine, suspension, drivetrain, and all that, and then brought it to us for paint and body, and we discovered the body was so far gone. I mean, he'd have $60,000 in the body before
That's
it
why
ever
you
got
never see
painted.
those cars anymore.
why you
They've all
never see
rusted
'em.
away. They melted
So-
in the ground.
He was actually fortunate enough to find a good donor car that had like a one paint job, been in a garage for 20 years, but didn't run or anything like that. So we bought it, brought it to the shop, and we swapped all of the drivetrain, suspension, and everything over between the two cars, and then started coming back up with that fresh body. So it's a good solid
You like
car
what you
now.
do, don't you?
Oh, I love what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really do.
Yeah, is your shop air conditioned?
No.
You don't like that part of the work, do you? That's why you're so thin.
Yeah, it keeps us healthy, man.
It's okay if I call you Frank, right?
Frank, sure, why not? I've been called worse.
Zappa.
Frank Zappa.
Sorry, I mean, it's a compliment. It really is. It's a look.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Until he
Been
Googles it
called
and
worse.
find out who Frank Zappa is. And then we lost another
I'm not
listener.
quite that young, but yeah, I know who Frank Zappa is.
Yeah. No, what do you personally drive beside the shop truck?
And the Camaro.
Yeah, the Camaro, obviously. I drive it as often as possible. I got a car seat in the back of it right now.
How old?
I got a 2- and 5-year-old.
They're very
So
good.
They love it. I mean,
I bet they do.
You never hear kids giggle so hard when you hit the gas on that thing.
You
man.
know, there's a thing on the internet. Some guy, and the camera's focused on the kid, and he's probably 8, 9 years old. He's sitting in the front seat. He'd never been in any kind of a hot rod, and Dad's got some exhaust on it, and it's some bad to the bone, like a Z06 Camaro or whatever it is. He gets on it, and the camera's on the kid. And the kid's bouncing every time he shifts gear, and all of a sudden the smile.
Oh, yeah. Can't smile
And
any
then
bigger.
he has my itches. Makes my itch. It is absolutely hysterical. Have you seen it?
No.
Oh, my God. You'll have to look
That's
it up. And
funny.
yeah, it's a great video. I've sent it to all of my friends.
Oh, my little ones love it, man. They help me out in the garage. I mean, my oldest 5-year-old, she's been out there in the garage since she was in diapers, helping me put coil springs together and, putting valve springs in the heads. I mean, she's all about it, man.
Yeah.
Well, they got little hands.
They
can
got
reach
little
in there.
hand, man. They can
reach in
fit,
there and
yeah,
do
they
all
get
that.
those valve locks right in there. It's awesome.
Or those 10-millimeter sockets that you
Yeah,
drop
they
down
can fish
into.
it. Yeah, they can fish them right out.
Hold
you
them by their
know.
feet and find
Yep,
stuff.
pulling speaker wire through the interior.
Now, who you got working for you down there at your shop?
We've got 2 employees. They're full time, and my dad and I, and then we've got another employee who retired about a year and a half ago. and he comes and goes kind of, you know.
Y'all got something for me to do today?
Yeah, kind of. You know, you got any Corvettes in there? Yeah, man, come on, we got a Corvette. You know, he was actually the Norman Frady's Corvette specialist for like 30 years. I mean, this guy knows Corvettes like, you know. So he comes in and does some specialty stuff for us now and then. You know, he's real good with fiberglass, and it just knows Corvettes.
Well, I think the Tillman Fertitta just brought the Norman
Frady
dealership there on Bay Area Boulevard.
Yep, sure
You know,
did.
I worked down there when I first got into broadcasting, and way back in the dark ages. I grew up in Marconi. You probably don't know who that is, but he was the inventor of the radio. Anyway, I will tell you that that dealership was there when I went to work there.
Yeah.
That's when the space industry down there was booming.
Right.
And we had an office building right there off of Bay Area Boulevard and El Dorado Boulevard.
Yep.
And those are good times.
Bought my first new truck at Norman Frady Chevrolet.
Norman Frady Chevy Port.
Chevy Port.
That's what it was originally called, I think. Yeah.
Huh.
Norman Frady Chevy Port.
I'll be.
Yeah. It stuck with me all these years. I never bought anything there, but I drove past it all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, do you working 7 days a week in the shop, or do you try to keep it to?
Nah, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, man. We like our weekends.
And Mama likes it that way.
Mama likes it too. Yep. She's got to spend the time with the family.
And I assume that you live kind of down that area.
You know, I actually live about 3/4 of a mile from the shop. It's beautiful.
God.
It's beautiful.
Yeah?
Yep.
Nice.
Engine doesn't even get warm by the time I'm there. I got to be careful and not let too much condensation build in the car.
I was going to say, you got to let it idle for a while.
I got to get them out on the highway every once in a while, man, because I don't get them warm enough driving to work. But
so give us the name of the.
It's Creative Classics and Customs. We're
God,
on 2325 Anders Lane in Kemah.
And your name again is?
Dustin.
Frank
Zappa.
Dustin, it's a pleasure.
Yep.
Thank you, my
guys.
friend. Appreciate you.
Thanks a lot.
You bet. Thank you. Hey, you can get the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for In Wheel Time Car Talk. Podcasts from your favorite podcast provider. We also video stream our live 3-hour weekly show on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show, we promise, will continue after this break. At least we hope.
That's it for this podcast episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.